right?
Yes, we here.
We here.
And first of all, if you thought this show was going to start off talking about football, nope. We all together for the first time since the inception of this show, so let's get it popping. All right, Laura, back to you.
Later on, Marcus is going to give Baker Mayfield his flowers, so you don't want to miss that. This Monday, I mentioned it's special for a variety of reasons. We do have 2 games tonight, less than an hour away of kickoff from this Steelers-Washington game. Big Ben has been questionable throughout this week, and we're going to find out whether or not we'll see him on the field starting this game. For that, let's go to Adam Schefter with the latest.
Well, Laura, I'm jealous that I am not in studio with the rest of you all, but Ben Roethlisberger, who's listed as questionable for tonight, is active to the surprise of nobody. The Steelers listed him on their injury report with a knee injury, with playing a short week on Wednesday against the Baltimore Ravens, and he is active and he is going to start tonight. Won't be an issue, that knee won't be an issue with any other ailments tonight. At this particular point in time, he will be out there. However, James Conner, the Steelers running back, did not get activated off the reserve COVID list. He will not be out there tonight, and so Benny Snell Jr. will start in his place. And the Steelers have a new kicker because Chris Boswell, their veteran kicker, has been nursing a hip injury, and so he will not play tonight. They promoted a kicker from their practice squad, Matthew Wright.
There you go. Hey, Adam, we can't wait to get you in studio here as well. You're in New York. You'll be on Monday NFL Countdown tonight, so we'll see you there. But let's bring in Jeremy Fowler now, covering the game. Of course, you can watch that at 5 Eastern over on Fox. And, Jeremy, we had to wait to find out if the Steelers would have their quarterback, their starting quarterback tonight. We've known, though, since last week that they'll be without their D tackle, Bud Dupree. How are they dealing with replacing him?
Well, Laura, they are reeling from that loss in a big way. This is one of their favorite teammates. I spoke to several Steelers who said he's the most likable guy in the locker room, and they knew he kind of underachieved in his first couple years. Now he's a bona fide superstar around these parts, and so they are devastated. And I talked to a veteran Steeler who said, look, we know offenses are going to slide their protection even more toward T.J. Watt's side, but that Watt has answered the bell in his career every single time in a big way. So they expect the same now. And they really like Alex Highsmith, Bud Dupree's replacement. I talked to coaches that said that he's smarter beyond his years and that he may not be Bud Dupree yet, but they think in the future he could be something close to that.
All right, more Jeremy Fowler as we get closer and closer to kickoff there, so stay with us for that. We'll be getting you ready for that game as well as the Monday night game right here on ESPN. But let's go back to Sunday. Eagles taking on the Packers. Dan Orlovsky, interesting day for Philly quarterback. First quarter here, Carson Wentz sacked by Rashawn Gary.
Yeah, and this has been the story for this football team. Poor offensive line play, holding on to the football too long. This one, Carson just leaves the pocket when it's unnecessary. A lot of bad things happening at the same time.
Eagles forced to punt. The rough day would continue. Third quarter is where we pick it up now. Eagles down 14-3. Wentz trying to get to Zach Ertz there.
That's just a miss. I mean, that's a 6-yard miss, and now you're going to get 3rd and 14. Try to force this ball, hash to the sideline. Receivers there, but when you're high and hot, there's no confidence in your game.
So here we go to the fourth quarter. Wentz benched, and Jalen Hurts, it's time for him to come into the game. On the first play, we see some of that athleticism.
And this is something that helps their football team. We talked about the struggles with the offensive line. His ability to not hold the ball, kind of tuck it and run is going to help this poor offensive line.
Later in the drive, it's 4th and 18 in Packers territory.
Yeah, this is awesome. Climb the pocket, eyes downfield, see the defender too close to you, and they got to get that throw up over the top for the touchdown. It's a great start for Jalen Hurts.
You see Wentz clapping on the sideline. Good by him. Next Eagles possession. Last chance to make a comeback. 3rd and 10, and it's intercepted right there by Savage. The Eagles lose. Here's Doug Peterson after.
That's what I was hired to do, to make difficult decisions, and I did one last or yesterday afternoon, and it got us back in the football game, but it just wasn't enough. I have not made a decision yet, and the offensive line does not weigh into any decisions as to who that might be. I'm still processing a lot of things and going through a lot of things before I make that decision. So when I know, you'll know.
All right, I misspoke. That sound was actually from today. So Doug Peterson with a really tough situation on his hand when it comes to this decision. Marcus, what do you think the Eagles need to do at quarterback?
Start Jalen Hurts going forward. That's first and foremost. And then you get to the point where we start talking about, well, what's Carson Wentz's future? What do you do with him moving forward? The bottom line is this. Doug Peterson's responsibility is to the Philadelphia Eagles football team. Not Carson Wentz. And I understand the importance of the quarterback position, keeping him in the zone as far as if he has to play or if you choose to start him. But the bottom line is this. I think at some point during this season, Philly did a bit of a disservice to Carson Wentz.
Okay.
Because he's been struggling for a while.
Right.
Right? And you try to ride the wave and hope that eventually he'll turn
Play
the corner.
himself out of it.
Yeah, we play himself out of it. We can coach him out. I can coach better. We can prepare better. But sometimes your quarterback is just bad, right? And that's not Carson Wentz's overall arching definition of being bad. But right now he's bad. So Jalen Hurts should be the starter because that's a spark and possibly better than what you have.
Yeah, and the reason they're in this situation is confidence. Confidence is the most important thing. It's the easiest thing to lose. It's the hardest thing to get back. And you could see it with this play. Now, why are they in that situation? Well, last year he kind of overcome some stuff, then the draft pick, and now he gets benched. This is early on in the game. Just look at his drop right now. This pocket is completely fine. Look at his body angle. He is already determining, even though he's got a one-on-one route up top, I'm going to leave this pocket. Look at the slant of his body. And just watch how his feet come together here. He has already made up his mind. I don't trust my offensive line. I don't trust my guys to get open. I don't trust the play call. So why is that trust or lack of trust kind of showing itself right now? Listen, the draft pick did not help of Jalen Hurts. It didn't. Whether we think you should be tougher than that or not, it didn't help. Getting benched was probably necessary. So now where they sit is, okay, moving forward, how do they regain the trust? Do they want to regain the trust? You know, that's the biggest question, whether Jalen Hurts should play or not.
It's complicated because they have two goals at the same time. One, win now, because they're in that godforsaken division. They can still win it, right? And so that's on the table. Two, they want to fix Wentz because financially they're motivated to fix Wentz. If Carson Wentz wasn't on his contract, he would have been benched a long time ago. So this football team is trying to do both of those things. I actually believe playing Hurts is the right decision for both reasons. It helps now because you saw yesterday he gave that offense a spark. His mobility is huge because that is a decimated offensive line. It's an offense that has been, as I've said, a tornado of suck. Yeah. They had some moments. He made some nice throws yesterday. He didn't light the world on fire. He wasn't perfect. He looked like a rookie. But he did spark the offense. But also, if they want to fix Wentz, it's not going to happen this season.
Right.
It's not going to happen behind that offensive line. It's not going to happen with the play calling and everything else we've seen. I think the best chance for Wentz to repair his career, and that's really what the Eagles want, is going to happen this summer. So I'm saying ride with Hurts, see what you got, try to win the division, and then reevaluate and make it a competition this summer.
Quickly, does it happen this summer, though, where Wentz can stay with the Eagles? Like, does he want to stay there?
I think it comes down to this. If you believe as an owner and a general manager that the quarterback can be great again, then yes, you stick with them. But you might sit there and go, we don't think we can get him back. We want Doug Peterson as our head coach more than we believe in the quarterback's ability to become great again. Then that's when it becomes a super interesting conversation. And to your point, Mina, like, I get that, but you can't move forward with Jalen Hurts if you believe this would be damaging to the confidence long term for Carson Wentz.
Do you want a guy whose confidence is damaged
but
by
that's
that?
a fair question.
Yeah.
That's a whole different conversation, right?
You don't. It's too hard of a job.
But it's a real question.
It's a real question, and I get it, but it's too hard of a job. Look, this whole thing is built on competition. Right. Like, I get it. Quarterbacks get paid and all of that. It's competition, bro. And when you're not playing well, somebody is waiting. That's football. That's period.
Yeah, and Jalen Hurts is no stranger to a quarterback competition. Doug Peterson once again said he'd make the decision maybe by Wednesday, so we'll be all over that. All right, let's get to another big story happening on Sunday. Jets were actually really excited about this terrible defensive call that allowed a Hail Mary touchdown. That's because the Jets still in position for the first overall pick. Jets defensive coordinator Greg Williams fired today, as reported by Adam Schefter. Let's go ahead and get updated with more on that. What else do we know, Adam?
Well, Laura, the Jets decided to make the change this morning. Adam Gase said he thought about it overnight, consulted with Jets general manager Joe Douglas, amongst others like Christopher Johnson, and ultimately made the decision to fire Greg Williams in a move that had been percolating for quite some time. These two had gone at each other a little bit publicly. It had gone on behind closed doors, and yesterday became the final straw when Greg Williams went with the all-out blitz on the very final play of the game after having success blitzing earlier in the game against Derek Carr. Still, it was a play where Henry Ruggs ran free, and even though it was a disastrous play for the New York Jets in the end, it may have been disastrous if they would have won. So it really worked out the way that it should have and could have, And now Greg Williams gets the rest of the month of December off after the Jets fired him today and handed the interim defensive coordinator title to Frank Bush, the assistant head coach.
I feel like now's a good time to just give my condolences to Jets fans. But either way, Marcus, when this happened, what did you think when you heard the news? He's upset.
Rub your ears.
Is he meditating?
Okay, listen. At first, I was going to say it doesn't matter because Greg Williams was going to get fired anyway, right? That's the sentiment.
Okay.
Bottom line is, though, I thought my mind immediately went to the players. This game is too hard for you to give a win away. Like, I know what the talk is, and Trevor Lawrence and getting the quarterback, and we don't need to win a game. But these dudes, this is their livelihood. Like, that's what people forget. And that's why I apologized last year for saying that Miami was tanking. Because at a certain point, I lost my place as a former player and didn't realize, like, yo, every Sunday and every day at practice, we get evaluated by our performance. That's our only resume. And for Greg Williams to put these guys in that particular situation where they could have beat this team and got their first win, that's tanking, right? And not tanking to get a quarterback. That's a coach saying, I don't care. It don't matter. I'm going to just do this anyway.
Taking his reputation.
Yeah.
Prospects.